Hey guys, welcome to my first book video of the year. One of my New Year's resolutions this year, as I'm sure is a lot of other people's, is to read more. And I've set a pretty ambitious reading goal for myself of 100 books, which means I'm gonna have to read about 8 books a month. But I'm feeling pretty confident about it. I have so many books that I'm excited to read this year, and I'm going to be sharing all of them with you guys. So each month I plan to do a TBR at the beginning of the month and show you what I'm planning on reading, and then at the end of every month I'll do a wrap up and tell you guys what actually got read and how I liked everything. So I'm gonna hold myself accountable that way. Go follow me on Goodreads. I'll link my Goodreads account below so you can also keep up with what I'm reading there. And guys, I even made a Bookstagram account. It's called Chapters with Carol. I'll link that below as well. So I'm just all into reading this year. I'm super excited about it. Also, this is my first video that I'm filming on my new camera that I got for Christmas. So if the quality looks better, hopefully it does. That is why. Before we get into what I'm reading in January, if you watched my December TBR video, a few of these books might look familiar because they were from that video, but I talked about how I was going to prioritize holiday and Christmassy books for the month of December because obviously I don't want to be reading a Christmassy book in January. Some of the wintry themed books that I picked out for December I didn't get to, so they're going to be in this video and I'm planning on reading those this month. So you might recognize some as repeats, and if they seem familiar, that is why. So let's go ahead and get into what I'm reading in January. Okay, book number 1 that I got from the library is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. There is a bookmark in it, as you can see, because I already got a little bit of a head start on it on December 30th. This book takes place from December 30th to January 2nd, so I'm weird like that, and I like to read books like as they're happening. I'm very much a seasonal reader, so that kind of goes along with that, and that's why I started this one a little bit early, but I'm still considering it a January TBR because obviously most of the reading is going to take place this month. But this book is just the perfect wintry vibes. It is about a group of people, I think it's about 10 people, and they rent this remote cabin in the wilderness of Scotland, and one of them gets murdered and someone in the friend group is the murderer, so you're just trying to figure out who it is, and it's just very snowy there, very isolated setting, which is similar to Lucy Foley's other book that I read and loved last year. It was actually my first book I read last year and I loved it so much. So it's kind of fitting that another one of her books is my first book of this year. I didn't even think about it like that. But also I picked this one up because her new release, The Paris Apartment, comes out next month. So kind of like pre-gaming, getting hyped for another Lucy Foley book by reading another book by her. And the next book I'm planning on reading once I finish The Hunting Party is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This one was in my December TBR video as well, but it works for January because it takes place around New Year's Eve time, so I'm hoping to finish up The Hunting Party soon so I can get this one read while it's still kind of like that New Year vibe. But this one sounds so cool to me. It's kind of a magical realism book, which I've never read anything like that before. It's about this woman, and every year she wakes up and she is a completely different age, and she never knows what age she's going to wake up as because the years aren't sequential. But one year she could wake up and she's like an old woman. The next year she is a teenager and out partying with her friends. So that just sounds like the coolest concept to me. I've never heard of any book or any movie or anything like that. I'm really excited to read this one. I love how it sounds. I've heard lots of great things about it. The next book on my TBR hasn't come yet. I ordered it and it's supposed to get here on Tuesday. I've been tracking it with my life, but that is Bright Side by Kim Holden. I joined Caitlin B's book club this year, which I'm so excited about. And that was the January pick for the book club. So that one's been on my TBR anyway, so I'm excited to read it. I want to go into it kind of blind. I don't know too much about it other than it's a series, and I think the second book takes place from the guy's point of view and the first book takes place from the girl's point of view, and it's supposed to be extremely sad and make me cry, which I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for it, but I've heard so many good things that I think it'll be worth it. And I'm so excited to be part of the book club and just be able to discuss it with everyone on there. The next book on my January TBR is No Exit by Taylor Adams. This is one of my favorite booktuber Haley Hughes' favorite books. She talks about it all the time, so I had to pick this one up, and of course it takes place in the winter in a very snowy setting, so perfect for this time of year. This one is kind of similar to Hunting Party. It's about people who get stuck at a rest stop due to a blizzard and someone dies and you're trying to figure out who the murderer is. People are getting picked off one by one. It sounds really interesting and the setting sounds super spooky. I always think rest stops are really creepy. I try to avoid them. I'm hoping it scares me because I love thrillers for that reason, and it's supposed to have some psychological elements to it as well, which I love. This next one was ready for me at the library and I am so excited to read it. It's been very high up on my TBR for a while, and it's Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have been on such an Ireland kick recently. I don't know, just like Irish shows, Irish movies, Irish actors, and Sally Rooney is of course Irish, so I feel like this is very fitting, kind of just going with what I've been vibing with recently. I'm dying to watch the show too. I remember seeing the preview for it a long time ago and I thought it looked so cool, and I don't really remember it and I was tempted to go back and rewatch it, but I'm waiting until after I finish the book to even start the show or watch the trailer because I just want to go in kind of blind. I don't know too much about the story other than it's just like a coming of age story and not a traditional romance. I don't even know if it is technically considered a romance. It's just supposed to be a really great coming of age story and I'm super excited about it. Next one I'm so excited for is Layla by Colleen Hoover. I was really wanting to start the year out with a Colleen Hoover book because I know so many people love her, and this one just happened to be ready at the library for me. And it's so funny, I was watching Haley Hughes' January TBR from last year to try and get some ideas for books to read this time of year, and she had Layla on her January TBR too. I didn't even plan it like that, but I thought it was funny and very fitting that I'm reading this as well because she, like I said, is my favorite booktuber. I love her videos. But yeah, this one is about a paranormal romance. It's kind of a love triangle between a boyfriend, girlfriend, and then a ghost. So it sounds really weird, but I think I'm probably gonna like it because Colleen Hoover is an amazing author, so I'm excited to read this one. Another one you might recognize from my December TBR is I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I watched the movie and I loved it, which I think is kind of a hot take because a lot of people didn't like the movie that read the book. So I'm curious to see how the book compares and if I like it less or more than the movie. But basically this one is very trippy. It's about a boyfriend and a girlfriend and they're heading to the boyfriend's parents' house for her to meet them. But the whole car ride there is just like very snowy, perfect winter vibes, and she's thinking of ending things with the guy. But once they get to the parents' house, just very weird, bizarre things start happening. It's very psychological and trippy. And I don't want to give away too much more than that if you haven't seen the movie or the book. Honestly, I don't even know how to describe what happens, so I can't give away too much more, but I'm really curious to see how the stuff in the movie pans out in the book because I think it's just going to be so cool to read about the stuff that happens. And last book on my January TBR is another snowy, wintry thriller, One by One by Ruth Ware. I've never read any Ruth Ware before, and she's supposed to be an awesome thriller mystery writer, so I'm excited to read this one. I honestly don't know too much about it other than the plot line is very similar to No Exit and Hunting Party. I think it's about some co-workers who go to like a resort, a ski resort. It sounds like there's a storm and they're kind of isolated from everyone, and I think people keep getting picked off one by one and murdered. So yeah, very similar premise to No Exit and Hunting Party. Hopefully I don't get sick of this plot line, but I think the setting and the snow is just going to make it perfect for this time of year, and this is really the only time of year I want to read books like that. So I'm excited for that one. Alright guys, that is everything that I plan to read in January. I'm not going to 100% force myself to stick to that by any means. I'm going to let myself just mood read. This is just kind of what I'm planning and thinking about reading for the month. So at the end of the month I'll do a wrap up and let you guys know what actually got read. Maybe I'll pick up a few new books to try out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the red subscribe button to stick around. I would love to have you guys here on my channel. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you so soon on my next video. Bye guys!